أهلا بيكم في دروس الأحياء للصف الثالث ثانوي. We covered before the support in plants and support in human beings. Today we're going to talk about the movement in living organisms, and we will start with plants. So let's begin. Movement is a phenomenon that distinguishes living organisms. Okay, living organisms show different types of movements, and that's why they are living. They are characterized, one of the characters of being alive is being able to show movement, any type of movement that can occur. We have different types of movement, like the continuous movement, and this is inside each cell. Please pay attention to this. Continuous movement, الحركة الدايمة، موجودة في داخل الخلايا, inside each cell, for its vital activities, such as the cytoplasmic streaming. See, this is the movement I'm talking about, inside each cell. This is called the cytoplasmic streaming or type of continuous movement. We have other type of movement called the positional movement. Positional movement, الحركة الموضعية يعني, of some organs like the peristalsis, الحركة الدودية اللي موجودة في الأمعاء. Some organs such as show the peristalsis in the vertebrate intestine, and all movements inside the body is considered as positional movements. So continuous movements, we have this type of movement inside the cell. Positional movement of some organs, okay? It's produced by organs, like the peristalsis, the one you can see in the movement of intestine inside the human body. Another type of movement called the total movement. The total movement is the movement by which the organism moves from one place to another. So the whole thing is moving. The whole organism is moving from one place to another, in search for food or for a mate, or to avoid dangers in its environments. So do not forget this. We have continuous movement inside the cell. We have positional movement of an organ, like the peristalsis, and we have a total movement, like the whole organism is moving from one place to another. And this is required like in search of food or mate, or to escape dangers in its environment. Okay, movements of animals from one place to another leads to its spread in nature. There can't be movement unless there is a solid support for the muscles to be attached to it, so in order to be able to move. Okay, so the movement depends on the presence of solid support. This support differs from in living organisms. This support can be external, as in arthropods, or internal, as in vertebrates. Okay, and this support is called the skeleton. We have organisms, the skeleton is on the outside, like external, زي الحشرات, زي القشريات, and the skeleton is present as the inside. Okay, this support is the skeleton, and the skeleton may be bony, may be cartilaginous. We have cartilaginous fish like the sharks. We have bony fish like all other types of fish. Okay, so it differs. The skeleton doesn't have to be bone to be called a skeleton. This is essential for the movement, of course. Now we'll talk about movements in plants. Movements in plants can be due to different ways. It takes different forms. Like, for example, if you study the leaflets of the mimosa plant, الست المستحية بيسموها, when you touch this plant, it will collapse. This is called movement by touch. So there is movement by touch. When you touch the plant, see? When you touch the plant, it collapses. This is the kind of movement I'm talking about. Okay? Also, the leaves of some plants, they follow, they open or collapse due to light or dark. I mean, where they follow they respond to the sunrise and sunset, light and dark. This is called, and because with the sunlight as if they are awaking, with the sunset as if they are sleeping, this is called the sleeping movement. So we have the movement by touch, like in the mimosa plant. We have movement due to a response to light or dark. This is called sleeping movements. Plants characterized by tropism. Tropism, response of the different parts of the plants to light, humidity, and gravity. Light, humidity, and gravity. One type of tropism is called the haptotropism, or the pulling movement. We have this kind of tropism in the tendrils of plants, in roots of plants. The pulling movement seen in the tendrils of peas. See, peas, they grow the tendrils. The tendrils, once they touch a support, it twirls around this support and gets shortened to pull the plant up. See that? You've seen this? Let's watch it again. See, the tendrils are growing. They found a support, so they twirl around this support and gets shortened and stronger, and the plant, grows in a vertical direction. Vertical direction. Why? Because of the length of the tendril is decreased. So remember, the one responsible for this type of response is the tendril. Once it finds a support, it twirls around the support, and this twirling causes decrease in the length of the tendril and pulling the plant up to grow in a vertical directions. Then, after the plant grows, the tendrils become thickened and lay down considerable amount of mechanical tissue, okay, and become stronger. So this is a type of movement found in the tendrils of plants. Another type of movement in the roots of plants. In the roots of plants, we have a pulling type tendon, or pulling roots that pulls the plant, grows and pulls the plant downwards to a certain level in the soil that's optimal for its nutrition. Okay, the roots pull the plant. See, it was near the surface before, and the roots, by continuous growth, they pull the plant downwards to a certain level in the soil that is optimum for this growth. So again, we have movement in the tendrils. They find a support and twirl around the support. Now the twirling, why we have the twirling? Because the part of the tendril that is touching the support grows slower than the one outside the support, on the outer side. Did you get this? Different rate of growth in the tendril. The side that's touching the support grows slowly, while the one that is not touching the support, on the outside grows more rapidly. That's why it twirls around the support. Okay? This can be demonstrated in the pea tendrils, and this is why the twirling is explained, because of the different of rates of growth. Pay attention to this. Rates of growth. The one touching the support is slowly growing, while on the other side is rapidly or accelerated growth than the one that touching the support. Okay, of course, if the tendril didn't find a support, the plant will wilt and dies. Another type of movement called the pulling movement, by the pulling roots of some corms and bulbs. As you can see here, the root grows, it pulls the plant downwards in the soil at the surface level, at a level optimum for its nutrition and survival. So these are the types of movements that you will find in plants so far. Another type of movement is called the cytoplasmic streaming. Cytoplasmic streaming occurs inside the cells, of course. It's a type of continuous continuous rotation inside the cell. This can be found in the Elodia leaf cells. It's an aquatic plant, and you can see the cytoplasm forms a thin layer lining the cell wall and internally, and streams in a rotational movement in one direction. See that? And you can see it in this video also. See that? On the inside of the cell wall, you can see that. Okay, and here too. Okay, and this movement is indicated by the movement of the chloroplasts embedded in the cytoplasm, as you can see in the plants here, in the aquatic plant Elodia leaf here. Okay, I hope you got the maximum benefit from this lecture, and thank you very much for watching.